They are trying to get me, man. And they're trying to get you too. But when I stand up, they fall down. Let's dive deep. Let's get stoned. Welcome to the art of Mr. J. Anyway, look at this rock. Look at this rock. Flipping it around. Doing something special today. You'll see what we're going to be doing. It's going to be sort of, I'll show you a picture right now, but I'm making some lines on it. All of this is going away. Everything I did on that stone is going away. As you can see, drawing the lines. Booyah.
Another one. Another one.
My name is Andrew Dingus.
Anyway, about 10 years ago, I was visited by the Greys. They then, against my consent, harvested my DNA to make... They harvested my DNA.
I'm gonna come.
To make an alien-human hybrid. Years later, my son, my hybrid son, visited me. I attacked him. I strangled him.
Let him cook.
I strangled my son. But only because he scared me. He zapped me. Paralyzed me. And I woke up in bed. I bring this up because, son, I want to apologize. I want a relationship with you. But you gotta DM me first. Or send a letter. Or even a WhatsApp. Aliens gotta stop coming at night. Always at night. Always while you're in bed. Or out in the forest. Dude, you've been watching humanity for however long. And you don't know how to knock. Or send a letter. Whatever they are. They're dumb as a bag of rocks. Because even a buck-toothed Brit knows not to jump scare a gorilla while they're sleeping, because he's going to get rocked. Get that accent. And King Charles's cum smacked out of his mouth. Up the raw, folks.
I'm gonna come.
My name is
Another one.
Here's the drawing. It's going to be a gnome. I don't know if you can tell. If I show up to your house and the message wasn't not conveyed that me and my bug-eyed compadres would be in your bedroom at 3 a.m. milking you like the old family cow, I wouldn't expect anything less than a 30-06 ripping through my neck and decapitating me. That's a story for another time. We need to, and yes we, us, need to get the message across to the aliens that we welcome them and their culture. America's built by immigrants. And everyone knows that America treats immigrants like their family. Because this is a Christian nation, dude. Come on. And I love three things in this world. Israel, prophet, and God. And sure, one of the three has for thee but not for me policy on mass migration. But let's not go there because I can't. Because I'm brown. I want my son to stop living in the shadows and come out. Come out of the closet, son. Buy a Camaro. Start drop shipping. Lose your money on crypto and OnlyFans. And have a beer with your old man. But if these motherfuckers want to mutilate hikers in Arizona, true story, by the way, look it up, zip-zap around in their hot rods in the sky, going a million over the speed limit, eating the cats and dogs in Ohio, and starting preschools in Minnesota, I'm fucking coming for you. I'm gonna fucking come for you. And these woke scientists in Roswell won't stop me from strangling my son's stepdad. Shabbat shalom, my N-words. So the sun-kissed golem from the south has arrived. Bronze and in charge. Go ahead and take a look at this. As you can see, I've laid it down. Laid the stove down. Laid that bitch down. Flipping it around. Figuring out how to best remove this stone. I'm using a shitty ass chisel that's mainly used for uh, concrete and removing pavers and shit like that. But it's the biggest surface mass tool that I have, and it's what I'm gonna have to work with until perhaps I get some power tools. Eventually, I will get some power tools because it's the best way to remove stone fast and easy and efficient. Although part of me doesn't agree with power tools because it seems like heresy and blasphemy to be using power tools on such an ancient form, right? Ancient art, such as stone carving. But you gotta, the slaves in Egypt had power tools. They would have gotten that shit done, no problem, and no one would have been saying that it was aliens that did it. No one would have guessed. No one would even have brought up aliens because they knew that they had a DeWalt on them, the battery pack, right? No one would have guessed it. So, as a slave myself, we got to think about efficiency. So eventually we'll get power tools, but for now, we're trying our best. Got a 3-pound hammer, a shitty ass chisel. That's what we're doing. And speaking of pyramids, speaking of the however those things were built, some people say it was through psychic powers, aliens. Who knows? But for years now, I've been trying to amplify my psychic powers. There was a time not so long ago, I was on a sick one. You might say I finally lost it. But unless you're hitting nothing but green lights for days on days, changing or choosing what song plays next or on your playlist, right? Hearing symphonies crystal clear, smelling roses, all in a dark room, fucking lucid dreaming like it's nothing, you can't tell me nothing. So I was there, man. And then I lost it because of weed, alcohol, nicotine, porn, and sex. I lost my powers. Powers I didn't even know I had. Torah says we have to live with our contradictions, though. But my question is, can I pound some Modelo's and access my telekinetic powers so that I can make stone monuments? The answer, unfortunately, I believe, is a resounding no. Yeah, because the Torah doesn't talk about how I can access my powers. Clavicular isn't dropping a course anytime soon on levitation, but it keeps talking about ascending. What a waste of fucking money. How is being a pretty boy and talking to women gonna help me learn to master levitation? So no one is coming to help me. No one on this earth. No one in this dimension. But maybe my alien son, but I doubt it. So I've turned to the most logical conclusion and to interdimensional communication, because out there is a version of me drinking a beer and making a Stonehenge. I need to talk to him. If he's about that life, then he's down to help a brother out. But there are forces in this world that don't want me to have that. They don't want you to have that. And frankly, I don't want you to have that either. It's kind of a me thing here. It's kind of only I can have this. But you know what? On speaking of you, there's forces out there in this world. They want to destroy you. Alright. They want to enslave you. Demons, spirits, energies, trying to take you away from what matters most. It's the stone.
Let him cook.
It's a stone. That's what matters most. The moving of the stone, the crafting, the carving, the love of the stone.
My name is Andrew.
It's the love of the stone, dude. Alright? And look what I'm doing here. Just continuously fucking honing in on one edge with a shitty ass tool. It does get rid of a lot of pieces if I angle it right. And one thing that I'm doing, I should have showed it. I'll carve out channels, right? So one, leaving. Imagine it like a railway, and the rails are the channels that I'm making on the stone. And the center of those rails is a mound of the stone. And so when I make those channels, it sort of weakens the stone, and I can go in and hammer it easier. So that was one thing that I learned. It was an easy way to remove sufficient amounts of stone, and brushing it away with this fucking thing. Yeah, dude. Unconventional tools, somewhat unconventional, but we're really hammering it in, dog. Really hammering it in. Got super dusty. I was getting hit by rocks in the face. Right now I'm moving my Zen to the other mouth. Look at that. Look at my face. My dumb ass face.
I'm gonna come.
Anyway, look at this. So you can see as I'm flipping around, I'm removing the stone. And so many, this stone was supposed to be the practice stone, and it was, but now it gets to be born into something new, and hopefully you'll see, and it'll become a little gnome guy, very minimalist gnome, and that's the goal, man. That's the goal. You gotta live, right?
I'm gonna come.
You gotta laugh. You gotta love, man.
I'm gonna come.
You gotta love.
I'm gonna come.
And older, mediocre white women figured that out a long time ago. After decades of complaining about voting, getting lobotomized, right? Right, getting lobotomized. Complaining about wages, getting lobotomized. Dealing with handsy, good old boys in the office, getting lobotomized. But now with SSRIs and Love Island, that's the new lobotomy. But they figured it out. Why dread the security state when you can live, laugh, love? Palantir and Flock aren't saying you can't get wine drunk at the bar and grill. So why do you even care, bro? Also imagine all the crimes against humanity that our masters have done that we don't know about. But with children being sacrificed, the more urgent thing of the most highest importance is a data center. That's the most important thing. We can forget all that, and now we got to worry about data centers, which is fine. I can worry about that. But how about you shut the fuck up? You don't know anything about it, right? So why don't you shut up about it? Why do you care? You don't even live there. Let Utah people. There's no solidarity. We gotta balkanize the United States. Really, it's too much nonsense going on. Too much. What is the word? Subsidizing red states, right? The highest GDP comes from blue counties and states, and the most people who receive welfare are in red states. I don't think so. Put a fucking data center in those red states and tell them to shut up. Simple as that, dude. And how about we stop making these billionaires go on interviews? Because it isn't doing anyone any favors. Honestly, so tired of the low-level priests with their billions and their attempts at being cool. We need the real guys to step into the limelight. Where are the high priests of the old religion? The ride or dies for our friend Saturn. Shabbat shalom, my N-words. Let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. That is Saturn. Kronos. Dude, how about that? Okay? Everyone's got it all twisted, dude. This idea. All right, I mean, think about this. All the major world religions revolve around a cube of some form. We got, obviously, the Star of David is a hexagon. Hexagon is found on the top of Saturn, right? The Muslims, move around a black cube in Mecca. Christians, the cross, it's just a cube unfolded. All right, get this. And then God of the harvest. When we look at the Bible, we see all these allegories towards, harvest, separating the wheat from the chaff. You know, he's gonna come. Right? Plant a seed in the right soil. Right? Who can reap what he has not sown? Only he who has sown can reap. The reaper with the scythe. Kronos is depicted with the scythe, dude. He harvests the wheat, the bounty. The question we gotta ask ourselves: what is it that's being harvested, and how do we maximize that? How do we make sure we're keeping this show rolling, we're keeping this thing rolling, and like I said, building back better for a new time when the harvest takes place? Because the seeds have been sown. It's time to reap, baby. It's time.
Let him cook.
It's time to reap. It is. It really is. And but not saying that I'm a Saturn worshiper, but the idea of Saturn, time, harvesting, right? Consuming. Why is it that we consume the bread of Christ? Why is it bread? Right? Why are we consuming this? And why is it that when we die, we're going to become one with God? You know how you become one with God? He eats you. He devours you. And not, this isn't to be, this isn't blasphemer against our Lord and Savior. But really got to look at it in the bigger picture, right? Because energy has to go somewhere. Can't just be floating around. It's got to go somewhere. Maybe it's in the gullet of the big man upstairs. Perhaps. So I implore you to really reflect on this, because it matters. It really does matter. Do you not want to be a tasty, delicious fruit? Don't you want to be a nice loaf of bread? Some grain? How about that? You can be a grain. You can be the most delicious fruit. How do we maximize our flavor? As human beings, as our souls, how do we make the most delicious, tasty soul imaginable that the Lord our God would want to consume our souls? Because otherwise, we're going to be sour, rotten apples. I know you don't want that. Do you want to be a sour, rotten apple? Do you want to be a loser who complains about, we're stuck in a matrix, dude. We gotta escape the matrix. Time isn't real. It's just a construct to, enslave us. Well, guess what, dude? Ain't no other option. How the hell are you gonna tune into a live stream of Kai Cenat if you don't have the time? How are you gonna wake up for work if you don't have the time? How are you gonna be the best slave that you can be if you don't have the time? You can't be a good slave and show up to work late. You're doing a horrible job, dude. Let's maximize our slavery. Let's maximize, the Heavenly Father's bounty, making sure that we're the most delicious freaking fruit imaginable. Let's go ahead, guys. Now, really reflect on this while we look at this stone crafting. As you can see, I made some outlines, and that diamond that you see in the center is going to be the tip, the soft tip, except it's going to be hard. the rock hard tip, and it's gonna be a cone. So that tool did end up helping me out a lot. I might sharpen it, make it even better. It was very surprising. You just gotta hammer that thing hard though, super hard. And but you know what? Gotta make do. Also ended up covering my face because so many rock fragments were hitting me, and also like creeping through my glasses and poking me in the eye. And yeah, I hear limestone is the best stone to breathe in. I hear it does wonders for you. But I'm also covering my face. I haven't been, breathing in you know, that much dust. But I figure perhaps I should every now and then maybe not be breathing it in. I hear it's the best, though. I hear it's the best because there's different types of rocks, such as what is it? Sandstone. What's the other one? Granite, I think. No. There's this particular stone that has high amounts of silica, and silica is molecular glass. And if you breathe that shit in, it's gonna just rip apart your lungs. But limestone does not have any of that. It's a wonderful stone to work with, so I've heard, so I've experienced. And the cone shape is really going in. Very excited to show you the outcome of this. And let me lift this bitch up. Lifting it up. Am I gonna lift it up? Oh, we lifted it up, dude. It's up. Forget the noise, dude. Forget the noise. Anyway, let's leave you off on this note. Oh shit, hold on. Exactly. Laugh, clown, laugh. Right. So anyway, leave you off on this note. They're trying to get me, man. And they're trying to get you too. But when I stand up, they fall down. Thank you for diving deep, getting stoned with me. The Art of Mr. J.